Hi, my name is Ivan. I'm an architect based in Oslo, Norway, and I'm going to start to share some short case studies of some of my favorite buildings here on YouTube. I thought that I would start today with one of my absolute favorites, and the one that started it all for me, the Nordic house in Reykjavík, Iceland by Alvar Aalto. I made this drawing here on site back in 2016, almost 10 years ago, and I actually have it framed in my studio because this building offers a great source of personal inspiration for me. I was lucky enough to live and study in Reykjavík for almost 3 years, and I was able to walk past this building almost every day. Let us take a closer look at it and go into detail about what makes it such a great place.
Alvar Aalto is a man that needs little introduction. He is rightfully known as a master of modernism, and is probably one of the designers that has had the most personal influence on me. I am definitely one of those people who finds a lot of the typical modernist design to be quite boring and uninteresting, but what inspires me the most about Aalto's works is that they demonstrate how modernist patterns can be combined to create buildings with stunning quality. He managed to create a type of organic functionalism. Aalto was a true master of composing a facade. His works for me represent exactly what architecture should be about, using one's intuition and skill to create spaces that human beings can feel comfortable in. The Nordic house in Reykjavík is a cultural house, and it first opened in 1968. It was built as a part of a cooperative effort to promote cultural exchange between the Nordic countries, and is designed to host a diverse program. There's also a fantastic Nordic house in Tórshavn in the Faroe Islands, which I might have to make a video about next. The Nordic house in Reykjavík lies near the center of the city, on a constructed hill at the end of a large protected wetland. It is right beside the university where I happened to study for several years. Let us then have a look at the plan to see what makes this building so awesome. The Nordic house is, in my opinion, one of Aalto's least known and most underrated works. The so-called Parti, or characteristic idea behind the design, is quite simple. It consists of a wide rectilinear base with a flat roof, and a contrasting dynamic form that slopes in one direction upwards to the north. I've always been a great fan of roofs that slope up in one direction. There's a real dynamic energy in such a form. We call this a pultak in Norwegian. This sloping volume gives the house its characteristic profile, which also changes in impression from different angles around the building. My favorite view is looking to the southwest, where the roof profile creates a clear impression of the dance of the northern lights. The base volume is made of white masonry with timber accents, and the upper volume is clad in blue ceramic tiles. In addition to creating a beautiful contrasting color, the tiles catch and reflect the sunlight. The building is quite modest in size, but very dynamic in both plan and section. Here we find some effective, solid spatial principles. The main entrance is on the east side, through a small entrance room, beneath a heavy overhanging volume. The entrance room creates a comfortable climate break, which can be very nice to have in a climate where it often rains horizontally. Inside, you enter into a foyer with some fantastic circular skylights. The circulation spaces are placed to the inside, which makes it possible to organize a series of rooms which are primarily used as offices along the perimeter, where they have direct access to light. The two main rooms are the library and the concert room, both of which are created within the sloping roof volume. This increases the ceiling height. The ground plan is interesting in that the concert space can also be opened up to the library to create a larger gathering room. There's a great flow between these spaces. To the east there's also a small cafe, which has fantastic views out to the wetland. Here we can find many characteristic patterns from Aalto's work, especially the fan-shaped sunken area in the library with study tables, the careful design for natural light, the undulating line, and the asymmetrical interior spaces. I spent personally a lot of time sitting and reading right down there. In section, we see that the building consists of one primary floor, and the upper volume is used to increase the roof height over the library and the performance area. There's also a basement, which is quite hidden, and it's primarily used as an exhibition space, largely underground. It is also worth mentioning the landscape outside. The Nordic house is built partially into a constructed hill, which covers the basement. Outside, the form is strengthened with another typical pattern from Aalto, the grass terrace. These are quite subtle, but they also provide an interesting contrast to the otherwise wild character in the surroundings.
The Nordic house represents, in my opinion, a perfect example of Aalto's philosophy of trying to find the beauty in everything. It is one of those buildings that you walk into and immediately you get that sense of just pervasive quality. Everything is carefully thought through and beautifully detailed. Most tourists that go to Iceland go there to see the unbuilt landscape, which is also fantastic. But if anyone happens to visit Reykjavík, I highly recommend taking a trip to the university area and going inside this building. It is open to the public and it is a really fantastic place. Relatively few people know that Alvar Aalto does have a building built in Iceland, and it is definitely worth going to look at. Thank you for watching. I intend to make a couple more of these small case studies when I have the time, so hopefully you will follow along if you want to see something more like this.